opening morning for Ohio. We're out on some piece of public land right now. Got in real deep. I'm sitting in this grassy swamp. Nice little bottom. Very thick coverage. I always forget how thick it is early season. But nice cover. Good deer sign. Lots of trails. Lots of hoof prints. Couple rubs here and there. But we're just setting up down in this little swampy bottom. Right on a nice little intersection of a bunch of trails that come in and go up to this cornfield I'm sitting right next to. So I'm thinking a lot of this thick stuff that's over to my right here. Some nice prime bedding. So was a full moon last night, so I think they'd be out on their feet right now, getting ready to come back in to go to bed. Bumped up a couple deer this morning when we were walking in, but other than that, I haven't seen anything since I've been sitting. So see what the day brings us. I normally don't go in with high hopes on, first few weeks of deer season, but I can't not hunt. I sit for months on it at a time without hunting these animals, and it really drives one crazy. So take every single opportunity I can to get out here. So we're gonna sit for a little bit, enjoy the scenery, enjoy all the beautiful birds that are chirping away, and watching this morning fog and dew burn off the grass. So ran into one other person this morning out here. He didn't see me, and I didn't see him until I was right under him. So I always feel bad, but it's public land, man. It's gonna happen. You can do everything you possibly can to stay out of people's way, but I thought I was in deep enough. I normally don't run into people back here, so and what sucks is he was sitting right off of a main trail. Like, you kind of got to expect it if you're going to set up there. Oh well, it is what it is. Hopefully I didn't ruin his morning. I will say I'm a little mad at myself. I left my stool in the truck. I normally carry a little collapsible. So now I'm stuck kneeling, but hey, that's hunting for you. You're not doing it if you aren't forgetting anything. Alright, so I'm on the move right now. I just had a gut feeling, man, I need to get up. I need to move slow. I need to try to get eyes on one. I hate sitting around waiting. I know that's the name of the game, but the whole point of me coming here today was to do spot and stalk. So I need to get up and about as quiet as I can. I'm moving through some cornfields right now. And as I'm doing that, man, I am looking, you can't really tell much right now, but the toe spread on that one. It's a big bodied deer, it's a lot of weight. They're eating good, for sure. So I'm just gonna try to stay in these edge lines of these crops and up in these trees and just work it slow. So we'll see what happens. So I'm on a trail right now. Just came in off of this cornfield over here. And now I'm trying to get myself into some big woods. I gotta get through this little patch of saplings. But once I get through about, I don't know, I think it's like 30 yards of this, it opens up into some big woods. But we'll see. We'll see how thick it is once we get there. So, just gonna follow this trail. It goes right through here. Swamp. Might post up there for a little bit. Alright, this is what we like to see. Nice heavy trail. And there's a water hole. Right there. So we'll get up here. Maybe sit this for a little bit. Alright. So behind me down there. Nice water hole. Marked it on my hunt stand app. And then as I was coming up the edge right here, I noticed, it's kind of thick up here, but I noticed look at that guy. Nice and fresh. So they're in here. Just gotta find them. Even better. That looks fresh as heck. And they're using this vine, rubbing on this as well while they're here. This is awesome. Found another really good spot as I was coming on this trail. Right behind me, another watering hole. A lot of intersections. And we're right off of a road right behind me over here. They must really like to hug this road during hunting season since they're so pressured out here. I mean, most people aren't gonna hunt right next to the road, so it makes sense that they're gonna be going there. So I marked it on hunt stand. I'll be coming back here for maybe some evening sits. So this is exciting. This is good scouting, honestly. I didn't expect much out of like deer activity or getting on to really anything, but from a scouting standpoint, this is awesome. And I'm in so thick that most people probably aren't gonna come back in here. At least with a hang on. Maybe some saddle hunters, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get up this. Just keep following this trail, see where it goes. Alright, so for the last bit of this morning hunt, I finally found the final spot that we're gonna try for today. So basically right where I found that scrape is right over here. Right up in there. I've got the first watering hole that I found is directly in front of me, and then directly behind me is that other watering hole with another scrape. I've got a couple rubs up on this ridge that I'm sitting. And all in all, I think it's a pretty kick-ass spot. A lot of deer sign. This is the most deer sign I've seen at this place since I've been hunting it last year. So we're just gonna sit this and see if anything comes in the water. Well, we're making our way back to the truck. We gave both spots about an hour and a half, where I just sat there and just waited. I spent a lot of time just kind of slowly walking around, following deer trails, and just trying to find sign, marking it all on my Hunt Stand app, and so I know for future reference, since I don't have any cameras up around here. I don't spend a lot of time in here. So we have some good little spots saved that definitely have deer activity and lots of it. It's starting to get hot now, so rather than walk around with a backpack, chest pack, and pants on in 75-degree weather, we make our way back to the truck and go spend the rest of the day with the family. So, who knows, might bump something up on the way back. Well, that's like the freshest rub that I've seen today, so mark that in the app and keep that in mind for next time. See if there's any more around here. I'd imagine there's gonna be, because so many of these saplings. Getting tore up by mosquitoes today. This is awesome. All right, this is cool. This is cool. We got a somewhat fresh scrape here. Some droppings in there. Got another one right over here. Right there. And then to complete the triangle, got another one right there. See a boom, boom, boom. Hell yeah. This is a somewhat older rub, but right next to it, this guy. And that's fresh. Look at all that on the ground there. It's a nice rub. Alright, almost back to the truck. And then we can evaluate and figure out what I'm gonna do when I come here next. Cause there's a lot of good sign. So last year, this was all corn. This year, all soybeans, which I love. I love hunting soybeans. I mean, already compared to last year, I've seen so much more deer tracks around the fields. They are loving these soybeans. There's a nice big track there. All right. Well, to say the least, today went pretty much as I expected it to. We did run into one deer. It was a yearling doe. Got about 20 yards from her, and I could have shot her, but there's no point in shooting something that young. I know who's meat in the freezer, but it is what it is. I'm not going to shoot something that's that young. But today was a very, very good reconnaissance day. Got a lot of good scouting in. Was able to pinpoint some pretty good spots where bucks are traveling. Found a few really good scrapes, some pretty good rubs. And what's nice is initially what I normally do is when I get in here is I go all the way to the back, and you figure you're not going to run into that many people. Ran into one person back there, and then the second person as I was coming back, he was on his way back there. And that last spot that I showed you where I found that scrape, and then another scrape, and then another scrape, all in a perfect triangle, is only 500 yards from where I park here. Surrounding that, as I showed you, all those nice rubs, fresh rubs. So leads me to believe that there's obviously bucks in there that are using that heavily. What type of caliber buck are we talking? Could be a spike, it could be a fork, who knows? But there's deer in there. So my goal this year is to kill a buck off public land, because I've never done it. I've always hunted private. So we're gonna do that this year. I'm gonna go home and check out hunt stand on everything that I marked today, and I'm going to basically devise a plan for my next trip out here, how I want to hunt it, basically. As much as I want to go back to that spot, I found all those water holes in that heavy traveled area. I think my best bet, now that I know that there are bucks here, is going for that spot that's only 500 yards from the truck. The only kicker is going to be trying to get in there before anyone else, or getting into a spot where I'm not going to bother anyone else. I don't want to get in the way of other people. I know it's public land and it's free for all, but I don't want to be that guy who someone may have been scouting that out since last year and has a place where they put their saddle. I would hate to be that guy. So if I can get in there and not disrupt anything, that's the goal. And the goal also in the end is to kill a decent buck off of public land here in Ohio. So we'll see what happens. Well, it is morning number 2 of Ohio deer season. Second day of deer season. 5:30 in the morning right now. 54 degrees. Looks like it's going down a little bit. My truck must be adjusting. But we are heading back out where we were at yesterday to see if we can finish this off. And it is so foggy this morning. Yesterday was foggy. This is thick. So we're gonna see if we can slink in there real quiet. I should get there here like 6:15. Sun doesn't come up till 7:20, so that gives us a little more than an hour to get in. Once I get parked and loaded up and everything, it should only take me about 10 to 15 minutes. That's if there's nothing out there feeding in the soybeans, and we gotta be extra quiet and careful. We're gonna be quiet and careful regardless, but shouldn't take too long to get set up, so I'm pretty excited. I think today's about to be about the same as yesterday. We're gonna hit mid-70s towards noon, but I don't plan on being out there quite that long. See if we can get a nice little 4 or 5 hour sit
and see if we can make something happen. So I'll see you guys when we get there. Well, we made it in. About 7:30. Been sitting for an hour and 15 minutes now. The hickory nuts are falling like bombs. Birds are chirping. It's foggy out on the field. And we set up today right on where we found that triple scrape yesterday. And we're in line with a bunch of rubs as well. So I think this is my best bet on sealing the deal out here. We know this is heavily traveled, and we'll see what happens. There's a few deer when I was in here this morning that you could hear them walking right by me. Weren't spooked or anything, so I don't think they knew I was here. Gorgeous morning though. Loving this. It's starting to get pretty foggy now. Really just rolling in. Coming in off this field. Well, I had pretty good visibility, but guess we can kiss that goodbye. Oh well. I'm on the move, obviously. Sat in this spot right here for the last 3 hours. It's 9:30 right now. Other than the few deer that I could hear walking around when I first got in, I haven't seen anything. Scrapes still look really fresh over there, so I think it's definitely something I'm gonna wanna continue to sit on throughout the season. I think I'm just gonna slowly work through these woods and just see if I can see some deer moving around. Just anything. I'm all packed up. Luckily the ground's nice and like moist, so it's easy to walk quietly as I step on a stick. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get kind of more center into this timber here, and I'm gonna work over to my right. There's a soybean field up there, and I think I'm gonna slowly work that way and maybe see if there's anything coming off of that field. And there's a lot of good trees in here that you could put a saddle in. All these hickories that are falling. Good food source. Grabbed a couple, put them in my bag, take them home. They should be the shaggy bark. Most of them are shaggy bark. I don't see any of the bitter nuts, so I think we'll be okay with that. They're everywhere. .12 gauge. That's what's falling. All these hickories. One just fell there. just such beautiful woods. Nice, relatively flat terrain. Not super hilly. Once you start getting over towards the west side of where I'm at, you start getting into the rolling hills. It's right there. That's a shaggy bark hickory. That's what's dropping. All of these. I mean, they are everywhere. See a fresh rub over there, right behind me. I mean, I can just imagine a buck cruising through here. It's just perfect. It's so perfect. Hate seeing the occasional beer cans around trees. If you're gonna come to public land, just be responsible. Come on. That makes me so mad. Or if you're gonna drink when you hunt, take your trash with you. Or if you're gonna drink when you hunt, do it on your own property. Like, I understand, like, you wanna have a few beers, enjoy yourself. But, like, save it for your own property, or save it for a family or friend's property. You don't need to ruin it for the rest of us. And like I said, if you do, just take your trash with you. Don't be a litter bug. Here we go. I think I see a rub. Tiny, tiny rub. Still a little bit of bark and whatnot on the ground, so somewhat fresh. They're in here. They're just in here when I'm not in here. A bunch of acorns in here under a massive oak tree. Big old oak. Definitely gonna be well fed for the winter, that's for sure. If the squirrels don't take them all. Eventually we're gonna work our way up in this direction. That right there is the soybean field that I want to get up to. And at least glass a little bit, see if there's anything bedded out in the middle. I wouldn't doubt that they'd be going bed that during the day. I know last year I had that happen a lot. I'd be sitting on this field on private that I would hunt, and out of the middle, like out of nowhere, you just have bucks stand up out of the soybeans and start feeding in the middle of the day and then lay right back down. So when you think that in the middle of the day they're somewhere in the middle of the woods, bedded up next to a log or a downed tree, and there's fields nearby, check the fields. All right, I have to check these ones out. These things are huge. I had a couple smaller ones in my bag this morning. That's what you want, for it to just peel right off. That's a good one. Add those to the stash for a little snack later. Those are good. If you like pecans, you'd like those. They are in the same family as pecans and walnuts. A lot of recipes that you can cook up with them, or anything that you would use pecans with, or walnuts, you could substitute hickory nuts. And apparently a lot of people prefer hickory nuts over pecans, which is wild because I love pecans. So I haven't had a hickory nut and I can't remember. I honestly couldn't tell you. So there's so many. I wish I just had a bucket. So a lot of times when these hickory nuts fall and they hit the ground, they bust themselves open, which you want them to break open easily so you know that they're ready to be eaten. So you can always find them on the ground a lot of times too. But didn't even have to shell that one. These are pretty cool. So focused on all these hickory nuts that as I'm picking these up off the ground, can't help but notice this guy, and then behind him there, and there's a doozy here. Look at that. Still some fresh rubbing on the ground. Oh, that was right there. Another one. That's awesome. Man, dude, these tearing these trees up in here. There's a nice scrape. And it looks like it's relatively fresh. You got a scrape. And right next to the scrape, you got a rub. They're working this pretty hard in here. It was about 150 yards from that triple scrape that I was sitting this morning. Yeah, there's some fresh hoof prints in there. Question is, where are they? Sounds like people are throwing things at me. Ah, here's another one. Freshly broken open. Right next to another rub. You got scrape and rub. And those are hoof prints. Those are not stick marks. That's another thing I'm always wondering, are these all scrapes that, like mock scrapes that people have made, but these are all real. Look at that licking branch too that they busted down. Dry creek bed. Definitely walking through here. That is cool. A lot of these old oaks in here. I mean, that thing is massive. Been feeding deer for the last 100 years. Oh, there's another rub up here. It's pretty good. Relatively fresh too. Another old scrape here. Oh, that one's got some action on it. I think we found our opening. the sun when we come out here. Very nice field. Should be another one on the other side of this. Got this tree row that splits the other field. This is all wildflower. An old scrape there, probably from last year. Doesn't look to be in use much anymore. A lot of acorns. This is good. These are a bunch of red oaks. And this is where it starts getting hilly. A lot of these are all just oak trees, old oak trees. Behind me. It's so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Welcome to Ohio. There's a nice steep ravine over here at some point. A nice little grassy patch. We're starting to go downhill. Look at that. That's good to see. Running this creek, a bunch of tracks down here. Squeeze my big butt under here. Creek's down there running pretty good. See, I like that there's not as many hickories in here. So when you're in there, that's all you can hear. That's another thing. Those bucks are probably going to travel the hickory woods at nighttime. And we don't have to worry about humans. More likely to be in these old hardwoods where it's just a few little acorns dropping here and there. You're not getting bombs dropping. Those things sound so loud. detour. This is one of my favorite trees in this entire place. Look how gnarly that is. So cool. This is actually one of my favorite parts of this entire area. It's so beautiful. Another really cool tree. These old maples. I mean, you're talking over 100 years old. Some ancients. Look at all that. I mean, if you were a deer, I'm pretty sure you'd be laying in there during the day. Especially during hunting season. That's probably gonna wrap up our 2-day excursion out here on Ohio Public. Definitely gonna be coming back. Maybe next weekend. Unfortunately, my schedule doesn't allow me to hunt during the week on weekdays, which I'm okay with. I get to spend time with my little boy. So we got weekends to look forward to. In 2 weeks, some of the boys and I will be heading down to our house in West Virginia. We'll be spending, I think it's like 3 or 4 days down there. A Thursday through a Sunday. Be bow hunting. Their season just started yesterday as well. So we'll be heading down there, spending 3 or 4 days down there. Hopefully getting in on some action. That'll be fun. We'll be filming that. In the meantime, I'll try to do what I can to get a deer down here in Ohio. I got a piece of private that I hunted last year, and I'm debating on doing that maybe next weekend. I don't know. I don't want to give up on all the good sign that I saw this weekend here on public land, but I don't know. I think I should at least go check it out. It's a little more urban. It's not in the middle of the city or anything, but it's in someone's backyard essentially, and it's butts up to some agricultural fields, but there's deer there. I screwed up there 3 times last year, so we gotta at least hopefully get redemption. There's some big boys that run around there too. I'll be hunting from the ground out there. I think a lot of this year, other than West Virginia, all Ohio is gonna be on the ground. That's one of my biggest goals, is to take a deer from the ground. I think we can do it. But we're just about back to the truck now. Gonna get all loaded up, get this hot clothing off, get some water, eat an apple, make my way back to my wife and boy. Spend this rest of this beautiful, beautiful October autumn day with them. Thank you guys for watching again. Like and subscribe. Give me some ideas on what you want to see. I mean, I'm no professional by any means at what I'm doing, but I have fun doing what I'm doing. And I have fun knowing that I've got some people that have fun watching what I'm doing. So, we'll see you guys on the next one.